This is a Swagway, also known as a hoverboard. There are tons of hoverboards out there, all under different names. As of this weekend, Amazon pulled all Swagways off the Amazon site, primarily because some products with the brand name Swagway have gone up in flames. We contacted Swagway and they told us they have no direct reports of any of their devices going on fire. They also told us that they use brand name batteries and they are very careful about safety. Since we've got a broken one here, we thought we'd take it apart to learn a little bit more about how Swagway builds these devices. Oh, that wasn't hard. We'll take off the other side. Here's my power screwdriver when I need it. All right, second half off. The power button, the charging port, they go straight into here. Everything's all glued down. Also, you can see where this guy broke. Now this is cast aluminum. It cracked right here. And you can see all the wiring that runs through here. Let's take a look because I'm curious what this is. So I'm struggling to get this thing apart, partly because every connection is glued together. Initially, I just thought this was some sort of finishing thing, but now I realize that they wanted to ensure that none of the connections came apart when you were basically going all over the place. Oh, well, that's good. So this protective frame sits over this big power battery pack. What have we learned about this battery pack? It's made by Samsung, so it's a known brand, and this is exactly what Swagway told me. And you can see it's wrapped tightly together. More of that awesome glue. All right, you know, like all rechargeable batteries, it's made up of cells. Let's just take a quick look here. So there's nothing unusual. If you've ever seen any rechargeable battery, the wiring looks solid. Let's just peel this back. This is exactly what Swagway told me I would find, a Samsung battery in good condition. So let's just take a look at this side because this is where the power comes in to charge this up. Although I will say that any kind of issue with heat, fire explosion is going to start here. There's an entire board sitting in here that is designed to manage the power as it's going in, so it doesn't overcharge, overheat. Having the battery on this side of the Swagway separated from the board that's managing power that's sending it through to charge the battery seems like it might be a good idea because a board like this is going to generate some heat, and certainly the batteries will generate some heat. So you've kept them separated from each other so you don't have it all building up together to cause a problem. It seems like, if anything, they were doing extra just to ensure that this is a solid device that isn't going to burst into flames. So we'll just quickly see if we can take this board off to see what's underneath. I wouldn't recommend any of you take these things apart. We're just doing it because we're interested in science and safety. If I had to guess, I'd say this is basically the motherboard. That looks like it could be a CPU. I cannot read what's on there. It's very faint. This part here is sort of related to power. Underneath here is a little piece of rubber, which again, I think both insulates and maybe keeps it from banging around. Not only do you have this rubber, every single one of these screws has these little washers on it, possibly to keep it from vibrating. This board is probably the balancing technology board. The only reason I'm doing this is I know I'm never putting this thing back together, ever. As Taylor Swift would say, never, ever, ever going back together again. Okay, this is really interesting. So we have this flipped upside down. What you're looking at here is, this is the board that goes to the pads that are on the other side. When you're riding a Swagway, you lean your feet forward and back to go back and forth. And the way in which that works is through this little mechanism here. Rubber sensors that press right into here. That's what this whole area is about. It's replicated on this side. There's one other thing that we haven't seen. There's a motor in this wheel, there's a motor in that wheel. It's why it's so heavy. I swear the wheel weighs 5 pounds. The motor's smooth. The wheel, by the way, apparently is solid rubber. It's gonna be the exact same thing on that side. I'm gonna take that apart. What have we learned? The official Swagway product is built pretty well. The problem is we don't know what's inside other people's hoverboards. We don't know if they're real Swagways or not. I think that if you were to buy one for $50 right now, the insides would not look like this. It might be slapdash, things might be in different positions. It wouldn't all be put together in the same way. And maybe that's where the issues come up. All I know is that I opened this up and I was impressed.